Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to Healing Body, Mind, and Soul with Aeriol. I'm Aeriol Asher, your host, and today I have the honor and privilege of being here today with Maurine Xavier. I gotta tell you, I met Maureen through one of Katerina Rando's events, I think, and you all have heard my interview with Katerina Rando. She's off inspiring ladies to do their thing, but what I didn't know about Maureen was that she was a channel to Mother Mary energy. And I met her in this very business kind of thing, and I didn't know that that was what she was up to. I met her later on through Dr. David, who you've heard on the podcast as well. And I even got to go to one of Maureen's awesome workshops. It was really great. She's up to some fabulous stuff, but I'm going to let her tell you all about that. I know you're going to be on the edge of your seat and you're going to want to lean in and listen to what Maurine Xavier has to share with us today. Hi, Maurine.
Hi, Aeriol. Wow, I am so excited about that lean in. Woohoo! Makes me excited and curious about where we're going to go.
Well, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about who you are and the work that you do, Maurine?
Absolutely, that's my pleasure. So what I'm doing now is I channel spirit for a living. And why that happened is honestly because of my journey to healing my own self and my own life. I grew up in an alcoholic family. My first addiction showed up as bulimia at the age of 13. I had binge drinking, la, la, la. So fast forward to, well, yeah, that's a long journey. But so basically I've spent the last 25 years of my life. I have 2 adult children, and I was on the verge of a nervous breakdown when my children were 2 years, 2 and 5 months. My strategy for life had been being a perfectionist. When we have 2 kids under the age of 3, being a perfectionist is impossible. So I, at that age, said my mission in life is to be happy. And that's what I have spent the last 25 years doing. Along the way, professionally, I've been an accountant. So I was a CPA. I was a division controller at Esprit back in its heyday. I did residential mortgages. And about 12 years ago, I got the taste of financial freedom from a network marketing company. And I went all in to follow my passion, to say, put the numbers behind me. At that point, I committed to my commitment because of where I was in my life and how the products helped me feel, is I wanted to help people become physically, financially, and emotionally free. That was my stand. And I had no idea what would be involved in that process. So I'd say now, that business failed financially. I went back to accounting. I actually went through a period of my life where I was suicidal because I had stepped all in to my spiritual journey, and I was in so much physical pain that because I still had 1 foot on the dock and 1 foot on the boat. And what leads me to do today is I finally went all in. I said, okay, this is it. I surrender. I turn it all over. I was introduced to, I attended some spiritual events. I was invited to channel, and channeling now is the modality and the vehicle that allows me to be of divine work. To what I know is what it takes to be free. What I know is there's one way of being that is inherently grounded in ego self, and there's another way of being that is inherently grounded in truth. And I'm committed to be a vehicle for whoever is ready along their timeline, specifically women entrepreneurs. I'm really passionate about working with women entrepreneurs, but whoever's ripe for that journey to have their mission, their way they are in the world, be who they are divinely meant to be, I help facilitate that process.
That's awesome. That's a great answer, Maureen. And so what have you been up to lately? What's got you excited? What's got you excited?
Well, that's such an interesting question because, well, right now, the workshop I'm partnering with Dr. David on that you went to the first installment of, that's my cutting edge. We're doing workshops. I have two different workshops that we do. One is Unleash Your Inner Money Magnet. The other that we're birthing a new iteration to it is True Freedom, Living Beyond the Mind. And the fact that I'm in enrollment in a new way is what's excited. I'm about inviting people in, seeing what is right for them or not. And what lights me up every day is when I am in the presence with women that I work with, and they walk away with major ahas in their life. They walk away having become aware of a block that they had no idea was using their life, that now they see it, and they experience it in their body. They have a healing that they actually feel it in their body. They literally feel the heavy weight of energy that they were attached to leave. And then when we continue the conversation, and their lives are just showing up differently without having to do anything different. So that's what really excites me.
Awesome. That's wonderful. So if our listeners wanted to get themselves started on a journey, what would be a super tip that what are some super tips that you can share to our listeners to get up and going on their journey?
So I'd say basic super tip. That's interesting. So I was going to say one thing, and now I'm tuning in to say something else.
Well, it doesn't have to. You can say whatever you want.
It's coming in. So focusing on what you're being, is the key actually to everything, in my opinion, because what we are being uses our life. And actually, so so a super tip I would say for someone in their life, if their life is not going in a way that they want it to, if they're having they're having a really charged experience, like they're reacting, say, for example, a woman entrepreneur or someone that's in the sales mode of some kind. So if they have an experience where they're inviting someone to work with them and they have a really strong reaction to someone saying no or not now, I would say that person could say to themselves, so this is the super tip part, the question that they would ask themselves. So there's 3 different questions they could ask themselves. One is there something I'm being that is attracting this experience to me? That's the first thing, is to literally ask the question and then be quiet and see if there's an answer that comes up, because that is an indication that there's actually something in a story you're living that you don't know you're living that is actually attracting these types of experiences in your life. And if you were to transform your relationship with that story, that you would start attracting life to be different than it is right now. The other thing, if you're having a strong reaction to it, I'm actually going to stop because I'm noticing you bobbing your head. How's that landing? Do you have questions about what I'm saying?
No, I don't have questions. I just want our readers to sink that in before we go on. So what I understand you saying is that the story that we're projecting into our field is almost like the image that it was giving me is like a brick wall. Like you were like, the authentic you can't be seen because you're projecting that story into your space. Is that kind of what you're making sure that it's landing correctly for me, and also giving our listeners a chance to really sink that in? So it's what you're projecting, how you're being.
Yeah, so our being is like an energy bubble that we live inside of, that we don't know that we live inside of it. It's a story we believe is true that we're actually walking around planet Earth not realizing is a story, because we're blind to what we're being actually. until we get really curious about it, like people like me do.
I love your curiosity. So what's that second thing then?
So the second thing is if you're having, there are people that have the answer be no. There's nothing I'm being that's attracting that experience to me. The person's saying no. But if you're triggered by it, for example, one day in January, I had 3 people in one day say no or not now. And I was just like, forget it, I'm tired. It's actually, I never had that happen since I started this business, because I've been so passionate and in momentum that it's like, this is it, I'm done. I'm tired of it, I'm not going to do it anymore. Or why am I doing it? And so but then I got curious, it's like, oh, okay, so I had a strong reaction to an experience.
Mm-hmm.
So another question is, what is creating this experience? So again, it's the curiosity, what is creating this experience? And then see what comes up. So actually what I found out in myself in that day, because that had been about a 3-month window of me having tons of conversations with people and nobody saying yes to new work with me. I actually realized that I had been afraid of yeses. So I wasn't willing to allow yeses in my life. I had a whole bunch of stories about what people saying yes to working with me was about. So that was an example, of me being, yeses are scary, yeses aren't a good idea. I really don't want yeses in my life. So I was getting all the potential people I was out there talking to were saying no because I wasn't. And actually then within 6 weeks of that, discovering that, I had my biggest cash flow month ever.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that. Afraid of the yes, right? That's a whole different category of fears that we could, and that's real. People really go through that. That is a real, and I love that you consciously addressed it and cleared it so that you could move on. That's amazing. Maurine, can you tell some of our listeners, what would working with you look like?
So working, is it more about like literally showing up in a session with me? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, if any of our listeners are thinking that they might like to work with you, how would that look for them?
So what it looks specifically, well, first of all, before I start to work with anyone, is we have a conversation so that I get to really understand what their challenges are and see if we're a good fit. So that's where it all starts. Most of the people that I work with come to me with so my niche, if you will, is I work with people, women entrepreneurs who have an unwavering commitment to live a joyous and abundant, or are highly committed to a joyous and abundant life. And how their life shows up for them is they have self-doubt, they have overwhelm, or they have worries about money, which is a lot of people. And what I do with them is we help open their money channel. We help them have more clarity, confidence, and fun. And the intention is from there they can go on and have a consistent and fulfilling 6-figure income. So those are the kinds of people that are my ideal people to work with. And what we specifically do is I help understand with a conversation with them about what are their challenges. How is life really showing up for them today? And the process of literally working with me is we're on Zoom. So I work with people all over the world on Zoom, which is a video conferencing modality, in case people don't know about that. People start off with setting, breakthrough intentions for what they want to accomplish in their 3-session package or their multiple session package. And we have an intention every day for, what they want to accomplish. Sometimes people come in with no specific intention because they don't know, but we start talking and I let spirit work through me. I've already invoked my spirit guides, and Maurine steps back and spirits guides the conversation. And exactly where that's going to go, I have no idea. Whether that's, a patterning of Like, one of the things that's different about than therapy is you don't have to relive the trauma from your lifetime. You don't have to understand, you don't have to relive the decision, why the decision, or what it felt like to be in the decision in your childhood that may be creating the block. But what you do is you're offered the opportunity to see the decision that's making the block and then make a new decision, so that you cut the cord with the story that you're living now and you open it up to a different space of possibility for you to live into. So it's talking, and it's a lot of spirit talking and a lot of spirit inviting you into new things. And there's one of the modalities I used is something called divine blueprint healing, which is basically like I step into a healing space with my Master Katumi is the guide I work with there. And it's like we're walking through a journey where what I see, I tell people what I'm seeing, and then we ask them new questions, and they're literally rewriting their DNA patterning when we do divine blueprint healing.
That's amazing. You are up to so much amazing, juicy, fantastic, wonderful stuff. Maurine, you're such a wonderful light, and the world is so lucky to have you. I'm so glad that you are so inspired and doing this work. I think you're amazing. It's amazing that we have gotten to spend some time with you today. And I just really want to let our listeners know that you are the real deal. Like, she is just, Maurine just has this this heart to serve and to get to the bottom of kind of what ails you. I really feel her commitment and really her tenaciousness to get to the bottom of what's going on. Maurine, if our listeners or anybody wants to reach out to you, what's the best way that they can reach you?
So two primary methods of communication are cell phone. So my cell phone number is 650-280-4378. I am also active on Facebook. So my name is spelled Maurine. That's Maurine Xavier, Xavier. You're welcome to friend me and message me on Facebook. And my email address is my name, Maurine Xavier, MaurineXavier @gmail. Those are the best ways right now to get a hold of me. My website is in process of being launched.
Awesome. Well, Maurine, thank you so much for being with us today. And I hope that everybody got a couple nuggets out of that. I know that I did. And what a joy to be able to spend this time with Maurine. I hope you'll join us again for Healing Body, Mind, and Soul with Aeriol. And until next time, happy healing.